Hi, folks. So, yeah, that last video, yeah. When I asked God to send us one who would teach us to walk, yeah, someone. As in someone else. At that time, God, yes. Was I thinking me? No. No. Even though when I just titled the other one, I just said this. Sort of really? Okay. Uh huh. No. But it makes sense because, well, as I say, with regards to Chris Blackerby, he was speaking about his churches, about the fact that people stay in churches. Yeah, the fact that people are in churches, different type of churches, because it's where they feel more comfortable. Yeah, they like the way the church does things rather than the other church. Yeah, one might like a church that's more hands raised and okay. But I say that's been the thing that I've disagreed with the most with him. The reason why is because, as I say, as I've said many, many times before, when God moves, you're supposed to move. You are. If you don't move when God moves, then you can count that as backsliding if you want. That's what I was told years ago. I'm not sure if that's completely true, but it certainly means you're not of God. If God moves and creates a new church and you don't move into that church, you stay in what you were in before, then that's about you. It ain't about God. And so when I understand that, and I understand, well, hold it. Basically, what Chris is saying is where people feel more comfortable. Feel okay, so they're being led by their soul. Well, 1 second, wasn't the old man supposed to die? Weren't you supposed to be becoming a new creation? Why would the new creation look exactly like the old? Why would the new creation have the same feelings that what they want is a nice quiet church and that suits them, it suits their personality? Well, excuse me, you're supposed to be being changed into something new. That is a thing that didn't happen. Most people in church are not a new creation. They should be, but they're not. And so when it comes down to it, there's been this, as I say, what Chris does, he talks about what the word says. Okay. He doesn't seem to look very much at reality. He doesn't seem to look very much at the truth of the situation, as in what is actually happening right now and what the evidence is there right now. And so, yeah, that's why I've disagreed with him more on that. And that's why, to me, it's more about, well, I said for years and years and years and years and years, I've been speaking to God that we need people to teach us how to walk because, walking is the thing, it's not talking. And I said, when I went back to this Community Church of God with this new pastor, I went to the men's meeting and was shocked when somebody in that meeting, one of the young men, not young men, he was older than me, said that sometimes he forgets to put back on the armour of God. And I looked at him with shock, saying, "Excuse me, where did you get the idea you're supposed to take it off?" Putting it back. Where in the Word of God does it say that you take it off when you go to bed? It doesn't. It's not a physical armour, is it? You never take it off. Well, he then went to the pastor, he called the pastor over and said to the pastor, "Well, is that true?" The pastor said, "I don't know. I don't know." What? These are basics. These are very, for goodness sake. In the first few weeks of being a believer, I understood that. The first few weeks. Basics. The basics aren't even there. Well, of course they're not. In a church where, say right now, could we have a teaching church with the sort of leadership we have in church right now? No, we couldn't. We could not. Right now, we have safe space, comfortable churches that are run according to soul, not according to spirit. Okay. So, yeah, when people are going down wrong paths, the pastor can't say anything, because the problem is, if the pastor starts holding you accountable, you start holding them accountable, and then, yeah, the crap really does hit the fan. You can't have, in today's society, you can't have accountability. Because in today's society, people see accountability as you pointing a finger at them, and you can't do that. But the problem is you can do it, but you can't do it if you care what people think about you. And God has raised me to a position where I couldn't care less what people think about me. Because of that, I can speak truth, because I don't care whether people like it or not. Could not care less. It's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to speak it. It's up to God to do what he wants to do with it. And again, this is the ridiculous thing to me. If people feel uncomfortable in a church, it probably means that God is doing something in you. So trying to find a place where you feel completely comfortable is the opposite of God's will. You will never be in a position where God's going to do something in you. You're trying to make that the case. We should be doing the opposite. Go and find a place that's bloody uncomfortable. Stay there. And go to God about it. Keep on going, because what Father wants is for you to go to him. He doesn't want you to go to the pastor. He doesn't want you to go to all these other people in the church. He wants you to go to him, because your relationship is supposed to be with him. Your relationship is supposed to improve with him through your relationship with others, but the priority has to be him. Who sent their son down to die for you? Was it the pastor? Was it the other people in the church? No, it was Father. So therefore, relationship is with him. Priority has to be him. We've got it all completely arse above face, really. We've got to get that sorted out. Yeah, because the reality is, we have a Father who created humans for the purpose of relationship. And even though sin was dealt with over 2,000 years ago, he's still waiting for people to figure that out. And as I say, you can't say now. You could have years ago. 200 to 300 years ago, you could have said, I didn't know because I didn't have a Bible. Now you do. You can't make the excuse, I didn't know, because you've got a word of God yourself. Everybody has now. Everybody who wants one has got one. They're not expensive. They're quite cheap enough to buy if you want one. There are Gideon's Bibles and people like that give them out for free. So therefore, come on. Now people don't have an excuse to say, I didn't know. 200 to 300 years ago, they did, because only the church had the word of God. Whereas now, come on. Step up. Certainly, if you have a desire for God, then focus on God rather than all the other stuff. Focus on the solution rather than the problems. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that the devil will send to distract you. Focus on the solution, not the problem. And you'll learn how to stand. So there you go. You take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye.